Hello?
Surprise, motherfucker.
Hi. What's going on, guys? Welcome to season 2, episode 2 of Critical Builds. I am somebody on the show, and tonight we are joined by a smorgasbord of different faces from different places of different shapes and sizes. So why don't we say hello to some of these guys, and we're going to start with this guy here.
Oh, hi. I am closely going to critique your guys' builds tonight. Hi guys, it's Kyle here, your boy, Clueless Gumpla Builder. Sorry I missed out last time, but I'm back, shining for episode 2. Looking forward to seeing what you guys submitted, and yeah, it's gonna be a good night.
Hell yeah! Thank you for joining us, Kyle. Thank you.
Oh, thanks for having me.
All right, let's go on over to this influencer right here.
Yo! What up?
Running at 240p for some reason.
I will also. Am I glitching like Ariel last night?
No,
but yeah, blurry.
Am I blurred?
The quality of your video is kind of low.
Oh, that's got to be something with StreamYard then. I'm seeing perfectly clear. But anyways, I'm here. Sorry I missed last week as well, or the last episode. But I'm here to let you know you all failed. So welcome.
Yeah. Thank you, Z. Thank you. All right, and let's head on over to head on over to Brooklyn. Talk to this gentleman.
Oh, hi. Didn't see you guys there. How's it going? welcome to episode 2, season 2, CritiQual builds. I've been working on my core build off. Have you?
No. There you go. And then finally, thank you, Brian. Thank you. And then finally we still have one more guy. Here we go. This guy right here.
What up, fam? Welcome to episode 2, season 2. I can't wait to get into it.
And then
there you go.
To finally round off everybody, we do have a special guest this evening, hailing all the way from the land far away that I am very alien to, named Dallas. Mr. Bill Roushlamn.
Hey,
welcome, man.
How's it going, everybody?
What's going on, dude?
It's going well.
I finally read your
Play that
name.
John Cena music. Beep, beep, beep.
There we go. So, got 6 tonight. So usually we're running with 5. So we're gonna try this format out with 6. If it doesn't work, then I will see myself out. We'll figure this out. But hopefully you guys are doing good. There is for some reason a massive kind of lag between the chat in StreamYard and the chat on YouTube. So if I don't see a comment, I apologize. I'm trying to catch up between. Looking between the 2 screens and stuff like that, and then trying to look at the slideshows and all this stuff. So it's going to be a bit of effort on my end, but we are going to try to power through this. So so how's it going, guys? You guys good this evening? Huh? Julio, you awake yet? Piece of shit.
Yeah, I'm recuperating.
Great. Okay, so with that, let's just go on ahead and start with our first critique of the evening because, I mean, there's no time like the present, I guess, right? Oh, you know what? Before I do, first of all, I want to say hi to everybody on Twitch. I have no idea if there's anybody watching on Twitch because I don't even have it open. But we're on Twitch now, so twitch.tv/.
I can find that
Critical
out.
Builds. Thank you everybody on YouTube and Twitch. If there is anybody on Twitch for joining us, I see John Min's on there, Guy, Miguel. Of course, Miguel, thank you for joining us, man. I know it's like 2 a.m. where you are, so really appreciate you being here. Plowman Build Report and Ranger Chris, I see on there. So thank you guys for joining us. Real quick, I do also want to officially announce that we now have merchandise. Now, I want somebody in here, one of the five of you, to ask me how much we make from these things.
How much do we make from
How much
these?
do you lose on me?
We make $0 on these.
We make happiness and joy. That's what we make.
Happiness and joy, yeah. If you guys like, I particularly like the logo. I like this logo a lot better than the season 1 logo for sure. For one, it doesn't look like a sex toy. So,
By the way, the people who are wondering, this is not a Pabs hat.
That's a prototype Pabst hat you got there, Bill.
That's version 1 right there. But yeah, so if you guys like the logo, if you guys want to show some support for the show, like these are here, available for you guys to pick up if you want. If you don't worry about it. It's neither here nor there.
This season.
Hey, Babs, what's your Twitch handle?
It's twitch.tv/Critical Builds. Critical Builds is all just one word.
And then, Pabs, do we have a solid deadline date for the Critical Build Off? Or
This time next year.
No, definitely not. So right now we are still trying to figure out how many episodes we have for season 2. The deadline for that is around about the very end of the last 2 episodes of this season. So we're looking to do that. We're looking to do season 2 throughout the year. So you guys will have a lot of time to kind of think about your concepts and build and post and stuff. So I don't have like a set deadline yet, but once we do, I will let you guys know, and then you guys can really kind of hash it out. So okay. So enough of that. With that, let's go ahead and start with our first critique of the evening, and it's from somebody who has submitted before, and we are starting with this gentleman here. So it's Graham at Armageddon Scout. Linus, everybody knows him. Everybody knows he does good work, and this is.
It's alright.
It's
Right.
This may be a similar thing that everyone's familiar with.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. So for some reason I was on the wrong submission form.
Oh, Pabs.
Pabs, come on, man.
I am.
Oh,
Wow, the IT team is really fucking out today.
Technical difficulties.
man, the holiday season. I know everyone takes vacations, but come on.
Those tech guys are going to get screwed when it comes to the Christmas bonus.
I got it.
Bonus, man.
So the build name is the HGUC RX-9 NT Gundam Amuro version. Custom panel lines, colors, and stuff. I don't know. Whatever I wrote last time for it as well applies here as well. And then he says, roast me. Do not roast me, please. So
Roast me, Daddy.
This is a.
Yo, what up, Justin? Justin's out there in the chat.
What's going on, dude? But yeah, so this is one of the submissions from from season 1, which was a work in progress critique, and now this is the actual final finished product with final photos and all that stuff. So, who wants to start us off?
Yeah, Kyle.
All right, so first and foremost, I loved what he did to this because one of the biggest complaints anybody who's seen this kit has is it looks more like a toy than an actual like figure. So he definitely stepped away from that being an issue. You know, it doesn't have that plastic look that you normally get with some of the modern unicorn narrative Gundams. Like a lot of them, kind of besides the Stein, had that kind of toyish charm to them. So he definitely got out of that element. Now, the one thing I immediately noticed about these photos, there's too much contrast in it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
heavily
it's like very tinted. Yeah,
it's heavily underexposed.
exactly. Yeah. So
in his,
for it being a white grayish kit with a white background, I know it's going to be very vibrant, so you have to kind of deal with the exposure on it. I think we kind of went a little too far on the other side of the spectrum. Other than that's my first notice, where I was like, oh wow, it's kind of dark, knowing that this is a fairly bright-ish kit.
Yeah, in his effort to make sure that the background is separate from your subject, yeah, he downed the contrast is way too. I mean, it's way too underexposed. So the shutter speed was too fast, and it's causing a very very gray tint all over the image.
Yeah, and one of the easiest fixes would be just to go with like a darker gray background, and that's not necessarily black because you don't want to wash out some of your black armor, but that might have been easier to balance your exposure when you take pictures of it, not having to worry about it being washed out with a white background, white kit, and all the
Or change the angle your light is hitting on it so that it is less in the background, which would already provide that distinction.
Right. Yeah. Thank you, Bill. I was gonna say that. I mean, if you don't have another background to use or another color, just move your subject further forward, closer to the camera, and then make sure that your light is more, even though it's either what's the word for it?
Narrowly focused.
Right. If it's the light is narrowly focused on your subject, the background will come out a lot darker, and obviously your subject will be brighter, and you won't have to worry about your contrasting and your underexposures. So, I mean, otherwise, man, I mean, I was looking at this thing, and I was like, I'm just going to repeat everything I said in season 1. I mean, this thing well, first of all, thank you, Bill, for sending me this kit, because he sent me this kit. I was like, I have personally never wanted to get a narrative Gundam just because I don't like the exposed bicep and the hip.
the prototypey look.
Yeah, I don't like it. Like it's very strange. And I know you could always just either scratch build or kit bash something on there, but just as its base form, and obviously the tuna pieces all over the cycle plate stuff. It just never appealed to me, and it looked like it was just tacked on. It was put on last minute. But yeah, I mean, Lions knocked it out of the park with this one.
Oh yeah,
paint, detailing, everything super tight on this kit.
There's some abnormalities in the paint.
A bit where'd you see one?
In the red.
Like around the waist.
In the right arm?
Texture.
The red.
Zoom in. Yeah, in the red, exactly. Bill knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, there's some errors in the red, and there's some errors on the pelvis in the front. If you zoom in on the crotch, zoom in on the crotch, Pabs.
I got you.
Enhance.
Yeah, you can kind of see that there's some not in this picture, in a different one. There's one that's more of a direct close up of it if you advance several photos. You can see abnormalities in the paint there on the line, that hard line.
Oh yeah, right, the bend.
Yeah, there's just some weirdness in there, some inclusions or something on the front of the front part of it, the right of the very front. You see that? In another angle, you can see there's some surface. It's just some texture shit, some surface stuff, and that's just a product of painting. This thing is small, and when you put a lot of paint on something, it tends to get a little bit bubbly and weird. But I have that same problem too, so don't feel bad about it. It's just things that I noticed.
I know. Go ahead, Julio.
I was gonna say the big problem with this kit right out of the box is that the cycle frame is pink and reddish, and that tends to lead a lot to it looking like a toy or an action figure. Him painting it over and going a completely different aesthetic with it really sold that it's a model instead of a toy.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
I know Linus isn't here, but Justin did have a question about it, and he's asking, was there any putty work on this? The front and the rear skirts look kind of round, fade-away. So I'm guessing
I think you do like a pop plate on there. Yeah, you round it,
but there's also a sharp delineation in there. Like you can see a line where it changes from being straight,
the bevel,
to being curved.
Mm-hmm.
I think it comes out of that.
It's almost intentional.
You can see it on the side of the front skirt and on the back skirt really well. So go to the very first picture you have
So if you go
and zoom in on the side of the front skirt, and you can see right there. You can see a hard line where it changes.
Intentionally done.
Yeah, you can see it on all the different pieces where he put in that hard line.
Hard bezel.
So Miguel has a question. So he says, so you should try and photograph a white kit with a black background. Not necessarily. So back in season 1, I showed you guys the Barbatos, and that is a predominantly white kit on a white background, but it wasn't underexposed like this. So essentially, like I said, I moved it forward. I made sure that the light was not hard focus, but it was more focused on the subject than it was on the background. And that will help differentiate the whites from your white background if you don't have any other options. So you don't have to necessarily use a different color. If you only have this white and you don't want to spend money on another background or something, then
you can also get a colored light and put it above, focusing just on the background, which will give you that separation of color.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, give you that contrast. Yeah, you don't want to be too aggressive with the contrast from black to white. That could mess your white balance up dramatically on those hard edges. So you want to have a subtle shift.
On this kit, when I first saw it, I immediately thought of Pat Labor. It gave me that vibe straight off the bat.
I can kind of see that. This has some showing mechanical elements on the legs and stuff.
Yeah, all rounded and everything in the legs, and then it has just the overall profile. I immediately thought Pat Labor was the inspiration.
And even though I promised myself I wouldn't repeat myself, I'm going to repeat myself again. Very clean scrapbook from line 2. Just really good. And then it's the same complaints or same critiques and the same kind of stuff that I've said in the past. So
it's a shitload of decals, and I love it.
Perfectly placed, mind you. They serve a well purpose, not just scattered across the kit.
Here you go. Yeah, this is the picture I was thinking of, Pabs. If you zoom in on this one, zoom in on the crotch.
Okay.
You can see the abnormalities in that same area that Bill was talking about, where the sharp edge to the rounded edge on that front skirt. You can see the surface texture on that big open plane. It's weird how it's kind of built up on the edge and wallowed down a little bit in the center. It looks like there's just a lot of paint on there.
So it's either too thinned or heavy flow.
He was I think he was very heavy-handed and just applied too much too quickly.
Yep.
Again, it's that same thing.
On that one. Gotta watch it.
I see some silvering on some of those decals as well.
As far as his color choices, the only problem I had was on the backpack. It's almost one solid color of gray.
Yeah.
With all these details that you could have changed the coloration in there to give more impact.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. More variety on there to give it more dimension and depth.
Oh yeah, because it is
one tone.
There's a bunch of pox on it too.
Yeah.
If you go ahead, Pabs, actually farther ahead, if you went ahead 2 photos from where you were before, you have a very nice close up of the backpack. There you go.
Ta-da.
Yeah, it's a bunch of wonderful photos. They're all incredibly clear, which is why we can point out all these little weird anomalies in your finish.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Resolution.
Under the microscope, yeah. But I mean.
So in an instance like that, guys, let's talk about decals. So those are big, awesome mecha decals on the back of a fairly flat surface, but there's 2 silvered out. What would you guys do to amend that, to try and correct that so it wouldn't look so, obvious?
So for me, there's two methods that I've personally applied. So the first application is layers upon layers of a gloss coat, while making sure that I'm not muddying the sharpness of the corners and all that stuff of the detail of the piece itself. Once I hit it with a gloss coat, I wait until the gloss coat is dry, and then I sand it down essentially what I'm doing is I'm sanding down the top layer of the gloss on the decal, and eventually starting to even out the space between the decals.
Bringing it down.
Edging, yeah.
What do you polish that with when you do that?
I use.
Use the numbers compound.
Yeah, I'm using a high grit sanding sponge.
Okay, so 10,000.
Yeah, 10,000. I think is the highest I currently have, but that's usually done the trick for me, and then I just keep applying until I feel like I'm happy with how it looks. And then the second option is using a coarse compound polisher like the Tamiya stuff or the Madworks that just recently came out, and
It's like
that
a
will
wheel
help you kind of right, and that will help you take off the decal applicator, but keep the decal ink adhered to your surface.
Hmm.
I don't know if anybody else has any other method. So
I would have hit it with more softer.
Yeah,
You
those
just know that-
decals are pretty hardy. They're not like the old high Q ones where you give it a little dab and you've already blown out the letters. They can take a little more softer, as far as I've noticed,
I won't melt on you.
to really kind of get them in there. But don't be too aggressive in the same token. But I've noticed that they're not flimsy.
Agreed.
But don't treat that as all decals. So not all decals are as hardy as what I've seen with the Mecha decals.
Yeah. So Linus, dude, Armageddon Skunk on Instagram. If you guys don't follow his work, he is doing some really cool stuff. Not only does he do Gunpla, but he also does a lot of Warhammer stuff. So he's
It's really good. It's a great build because we're having to get down into the nitty gritty to find issues.
Yeah.
Right? So,
exactly.
Yeah, I'm like picking on the most minor surface details, like the finish. Come on.
It could be cat hair. We're like, no, there's cat hair on your build. Shame on
Ain't
you.
nothing. I have cat hairs all over my shit. I got these. My cats are.
I have a Pomeranian and a German Shepherd, and
Yes. His hairs are part of your build.
yeah, it really is. All right, so so Linus, thank you for submitting, dude. Yeah, excellent work. Thank you for showing us
Good
the
job.
finished
Excellent
product. Yeah. So let's move on to our next critique of the evening. That one a little bit longer. So let's go ahead and get this guy's build out. Again, not a stranger to submitting stuff on the show. Ask people on Instagram. So the last thing that he submitted before was was it a Marquet kit?
Yeah.
No, it's
No.
it's what's it called? Shit. Justin will know. Post it and Justin will know. It's the one with the robot. It's Bandai though. It's not Maquet. Shit, it's right at the end of my tongue. I don't know why I can't say it.
I thought it was a Marquet kit.
No, it's not Maquet. It's Bandai. It's the Scope Dog. That's what it is. Scope Dog.
No. I mean the thing he put.
The last one.
Submitted.
The last one. Okay, yeah. The last one he submitted was a Maquet. Yeah. Sorry, I thought we were referring to his current submission.
No. Yeah, so we're gonna talk about that now, though. So we're gonna talk about his current submission.
So the reason I was letting everybody speak, but I'm also noticing that I'm on like a 10-second lag. With
Everybody's
video.
on 10-second lag.
No, like with my videos, like way lagging, I think. So that's why I've kind of been quiet, guys.
It seemed fine.
Are you watching us on YouTube or are you watching us on Studio?
I was. I'm just watching on the StreamYard right now. So
Yeah,
it looks
that's
fine
better.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so back to at Little Class People. You seem fine to us, Lee. That's why we're like we're talking about.
Yeah.
So Little Class People on Instagram, and his build background is I thought I'd submit my entry for the Bandai Gunpla Open for review, but include only what was included in my submission. The lack of feedback presented with the shortlist had me struggling to draw conclusions on where to focus on for improvement. So maybe this will help me see better through the judge's eyes on this one. It's also really hard for me to compare a 120 scale apples to 1/100 scale bananas. I'll include a few work in progress for the 540 minimum. So the name of the build is On the Wind, the Scope Dog Puma, the parachute utilizing mechanized asset, modeled from the 120 scale ATM-09-ST Scope Dog 01 kit. So we're going to go ahead and share that right now, then I'll continue with the description because it's quite long. So he says the idea behind the Puma was to recreate the parachute unit from the Udo city story arc of Votoms while playing with the modularity of the Scope Dog to make a specialized version like it has for other environments. To do this, I scratch built the cannon parachute pack and changed details across the mech in line with modern modular military vehicles. some of which are designed to have an air cargo / rapid deployment armor package. The kit was painted in a more vibrant version of the Canon Melchian Army colors to mimic the style of the 80s promotional artwork. It was mostly hand-painted to add to this effect. Whew.
That's a lot.
That's nothing. Just wait. I haven't submitted yet for this season. Just wait until I'm gonna get wordy on you, Pabs. I'm gonna put all sorts of complicated words in there, make it real hard.
Just a quick thing. So if you guys have more photos that you want to send, so if you only have 10 photos because Google Forms can only allow you to send 10 photos, but if you have more, you guys can do subsequent applications to the
Yeah, just resubmit.
Yeah, and then just let us, in your description or on your name, just make sure that it is like maybe 1 of 3 or 2 of 3 or whatever. So we know, so that we know that this is part of one giant submission. So if if you guys have more than 10 photos, please send more, because this will help us look at it closer.
Especially for work in progress.
Yeah, like when I did
how it came to be.
Right.
When I did the flea last year, I submitted 10 photos to Pabs, and it was just a handful. And then I submitted like 100 more in email form, and it was just hard to link all that together. So if you need, don't submit 100 photos. But if you have 15, 20, 25, whatever quality photos that help explain the whole situation and show your whole story, then by all means, please submit multiple forms, and then we'll see it all together. It'll be obvious.
Right. Yeah. So here we go. So little class of people. Let's get to it. Who wants to start?
This is awesome. I really like this. I could see like the obvious craftsmanship using a medium density fiberboard here in layers, and then turning it out on a lathe and machining it out, or potentially just doing it by hand and then chasing it with a file or a small chisel. Really quality. You can see the craftsmanship that went into it, the using of the other skills, like I was talking about last night on Mechanism, using woodworking skills and those other things that we can learn and pick up through our daily habits, and apply that or implement that. There we go, into your hobby, and then using obviously vacuum form with this.
So he made this is making the buck. Again, very like anybody who can make a buck is I think already pretty impressive in my book.
There's a science to those, definitely.
Right.
With vacuum forming.
Yeah, this is really impressive. I mean, kind of seeing his process for this, and I know this is the same kind of method Tim used for his airdrop build. But to kind of see somebody else use it, and wherever he learned this from is
Yeah, I remember my old vacuum farm that I made was just. It was a weird hot mess.
There's a learning curve for that one, for sure.
There definitely is. I love this picture.
Oh my God, this is awesome.
So for anybody who is trying to kind of catch people's attention when you're posting stuff on social media, stuff like this is what catches my eye. Whenever I'm looking at I'm scrolling through my feed and whatever. Work in progress photos like this, or it's like work in progress photos in general, of you trying to explain what it is you're trying to create from your head onto the table, is super impressive. I think for me is way more impressive than anything anybody else or anybody can post.
Especially since IG is photo predominant. Yeah, you can write a description, but who reads descriptions? Your photos will speak volumes on what you're doing. So, show some work in progress. I like showing work in progress because not only does it solidify the work I did, so I can look back on it, it also helps other people get the same thing in case they want to do it.
And then there's the other side of it. Showing work in progress, you can get real-time critiques and ideas. Instead of, here's a finished picture, this is what I did to it. It helps you more to say, here's where I'm at on this, and let them give you feedback on that. And then you can go back and make changes if you want.
Right. And so, onto the actual build itself, I think super creative, weapon design. First of all,
it really is. It really is.
I love the almost like the Tommy gun look to it, minus the stock, right?
The drum magazine and
And I can only imagine kind of your thought. I mean, I kind of wish he was here, but he's not. He's I don't think he's watching currently. But
The weapon design fits that world.
right.
Oh yeah, the Voltum's world. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Really nice.
Yeah, the inner design is great. Like just the barrel design is very unique and cool. I'd love to have seen how you built this handle right here. Kind of cool to see, but I have to agree, impressive work.
Well, I love the little extra detail in that handle too, with the two kind of knurled nuts on the top where you attach it to the railing.
On the rail.
You know,
Yeah.
to
The forward hand grip is what he's talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
So those
and
little
then
details that
whatever
really
this-
add to the kit.
It really does. And then whatever this metal kind of in the front by the barrel, I'm assuming this thing can also throw flames. That's why it's a gas line that's feeding something. But it makes you curious as to what this thing can actually do, because it looks like it can do some damage. And in that detail, your imagination is captured.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I see that, I actually think of how modern day rifles actually have a gas chamber that cycles back to the main upper body. So when I see that to me is what I think it is. Oh, that's part of the gas chamber cycling back.
Then aids in ejecting the round, right? And then yeah.
Yep.
All right, so on to the build itself. What do you got?
His colors are fantastic. My only problem is the orange emblems everywhere. Really hard to see on that purple.
Oh,
If
right.
you
It's
had
contrast.
black outline or something like that.
Let's do that. Okay.
He hand painted that tree. Like
Tree right here, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
The sakura tree
yeah.
or cherry blossom.
I might not have
Joint.
any places to say anything about the weathering, but I feel like it's a little lacking for me.
The weathering is really inconsistent. And honestly, using black on the off-white is jarring. He should have used something less of a contrast, like a brown or something else.
Yeah.
Or like an earthy tone rather than like a dark greasy
Right.
oil tone.
Because on that off-white, you wouldn't see all the panel lines with black on there unless if it's like
Seen some
oil.
Wow. Yeah, it has to be oil. Yeah. But then it'd be streaky
And even
everywhere,
oil
you know,
concentrate
like,
fades over time. So yeah.
And when you look around on the different places on it, you see weird places where it's built up and it's streaky when it doesn't make sense.
I agree with that. It looks more like not so much weathering, but more kind of just usage, and it's inconsistent in the usage. And I would say if you're going to go through the trouble of adding to show like this is a used piece of machine and it gets the work done, there are certain areas where I would add weathering too, like under the arms, waistline.
This
Right,
exhaust vent you see here should be
Exactly. I feel like there was just maybe like one color sort of weathering element used, where you could, had you really kind of taken that extra step to add the grime, the dirt, the streaks, the oils, it would have been more realistic.
Now, the one that stood out as awesome was the visor. How it has that going across all the scratching. That was awesome. But it was fantastic.
For me,
Definitely tell.
oh, sorry, Julio. For me, like personally, I'm going to echo what Z was saying, where it felt like his weathering was very one dimensional. It just looked like it was just one layer of gunk, and that was it. Like it just didn't. And even though I want to use the word inconsistent, I don't want to use that either, because it's, for some reason, the weathering here is more uniform than
Actually, consistent is the word you want to use. It's too consistent, because weathering is known to be inconsistent because you have layers of different colors and textures. Right. So it's too consistent is actually probably right.
And even the way it is, it would have been, I think, it would have turned out a lot better had there have been some of it applied to like where the decals are. Like you see, all the decal areas are very clean. There's no smudging, staining, anything like that. Especially if you on the waist, it sticks out where that red, underneath the handle, that red decal is. It's just super clean. On a weathered kit, you would never see those areas where there's additional painting done by the person wearing the suit or operating the suit. They're hand painted, spray painted. They're nastier looking. They're not clean, right? So you would see that.
No, I'm not too overly like I know some of the lore and I know some of the background, but I'm not too overly familiar with the color schemes on Botom stuff, right? But I do kind of wish that there was more separation in the colors.
Yeah.
This is dead on. This is canon.
It's pretty
So,
two-toned.
One thing I wanted to mention is that all of the joints have been puttied to look like they have the bags on them. So those are all raw joints. They should be ball joints with sticks and like almost like exposed mechanics and shit like that. Like the inside of those arms should look like essentially like the insides of these arms. Woo! From the camera.
Let me make this man big.
I can get it to fucking focus. There you go. Yeah, so they should be looking like that. They should look open and gunky, and then like under the arm itself, it should be like just an open piece of mechanics. So he went through and did some nice putty work to make those look good. I was trying to figure out if that was like, does this kit come with bags?
Nope.
Yeah.
So I take it this is mission number 2, and this thing's been sitting in the warehouse. So the lack of like in-depth weather didn't really bother me, especially it matching, that front plate's maybe moved 4 or 5 times along that back plating. So the consistency of the grime made sense to me.
Okay.
This isn't to get deployed a lot.
Yeah, no, that's totally true. Just kind of like how I made that tank, right? It was just sitting on a train, getting to where it needs to get, and it picked up some dirt and grime. Haven't seen any action. So that could be very true. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
The one other thing I do also really like, as far as more detail, if you go zoom in on that gun, on that little piece there, there's actual writing there that's legible. But that's just another little detail that just really kind of sticks out, and you notice the kind of attention and detail that went into this building this kit. And on the canister itself, you see the gold, and then you see some more writing there. So awesome.
I absolutely love this moment in time image right here.
Yep.
Like just this right here just speaks volumes as to what he's trying to portray, and this is really impressive. I mean, it looks pretty basic. It looks it looks straightforward, but it just adds another layer of a narrative that you're trying to portray with your image right here. So props, dude. This is cool.
And I absolutely love the weathering on the rock. That's spot on.
Yeah, no, it's a parking barrier. That's
Yeah,
just
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I think they call those. What do they call those? T's? Or are they J's? Can't remember. But skateboarders we used to make them into half pipes. So
The scratch built armor he added to all this is fantastic.
Yeah, if you guys want to see the working.
yeah, there's some whips, right?
Yeah.
That is so beautiful. To see
For
what it's like.
Yeah, that's amazing.
story wise, this thing is
Barriers.
down from a high altitude. It's lighter because of all the grading. Makes a lot of sense.
Jersey barrier.
Really nice.
Thanks, Miguel.
Joyzy barriers.
Joy.
Joyzy. Okay. And here's the the puttied up vinyl things covers that you're talking about, right?
Yeah, green stuff.
Yeah, the sleeves.
Some green stuff works putty.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Look at that. You can
He
see
had a
it's
vision
like,
and he conveyed it.
it's like a regular brass mesh, just a woven mesh you can buy that he stuffed in there, but it's made or bought at the right scale so that it looks right. Like sometimes people put mesh and stuff on kits that just doesn't match the scale. So I think this is very well done. All the additional hardware. Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
The last thing I would say is on the parachute. On the edges of it, they're too clean. Normally, when you see a parachute, the edges will kind of puff out a little bit more.
Yeah, pucker.
Right. So if he had taken a heat gun and just raised them out a little bit so that you could.
Yeah,
Got
like
that.
it's catching air more, right? Like, yeah.
because it's so flat and so rigid looking. It kind of takes away from the whole idea of this person parachuted in.
Right. I think that's more the limitations of, well, not the limitations, but him making sure that it looks right without him messing up. If that makes sense. Maybe he didn't have enough opportunity
like
to
I said,
practice on.
it's something to consider in the future. It's about what he could do next time to make it appear more real.
Sure.
He did round out or warp some of the edgings of the parachute.
Yeah.
But I think like inside of it itself would be not scaled differently. It would pucker and bloat differently throughout.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was all consistently round completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great
So,
work though, man. It's really great work.
Like, I don't know if anybody noticed, but even inside the calves, the details painted up pretty nicely. Like inside the calf radiator where you see the vents, you can actually tell that there's paint and muck. Yeah, like right. Like you can see the detail there, which, so many people would just go right past that, but kudos on that too.
So little plastic people, man.
Awesome job.
So,
Yeah,
I
really
don't
good
have. Do
job.
you guys remember where he placed in the Bandai Open?
They didn't show this.
They didn't show this.
No.
No, they didn't show any
I
of the
saw
stuff that was
that
in
picture.
Gundam.
I think he placed. Oh no, he didn't place it at CGMC, but they didn't show anything that wasn't really Gundam related on Bandai Open.
So Justin wants to see the backpack. I am. Oh, here we go. Sure.
Yeah, there's one picture where it shows it.
Yeah, there's two photos actually with the backpack. So
I love the bedroll in there.
Yeah.
because mechs need to sleep too. Okay?
Well, it's 120
It's
scale.
a
So
cover. Yeah, it's a cover. Yeah. I love the little ammo dispenser right here.
Ammo clips.
Ammo clips. Yeah.
The little blankets.
drum mags.
The detail work, the decal work is absolutely awesome. There's no
Like I said, if you don't zoom in, you don't even notice that orange decal right there.
Right, it can gets blown out by the brightness of the whole
Right.
thing.
No, if he had just outlined it or something to give it a little bit more contrast, it would have been much better.
Yeah, some filtering on the paint would have made the decals pop more. Yeah.
True.
I'll be right back.
Excellent.
Sure, Bill. At Little Plastic People, dots in between each word. Please follow him on Instagram. Stu makes amazing work. Amazing work. I've never seen him do anything particularly bad. So,
Agreed.
No, Little Plastic People's tight.
yeah. So, great work, man. So let's go ahead and flip the script real quick and go to our first feature of the evening.
Get a feature title card.
Oh yes, thank you.
The reminder that's
man
show.
right here.
Do you want to go to commercial break first?
No, dude.
Oh, I'm just,
Here we go. All right, so we are going to be featuring a build from this person, this gentleman right here. So Edwin Verando, aka Ed Verando on Instagram,
Edward Rondo.
with
Lost Kyle.
his
That's a weird
lost Kyle again.
Oh, thank God, I figured it. Hold on, sorry guys. I was lagging the whole fucking time we started talking. I was like, what the hell? I had him turn off the streams upstairs. Come to find out my laptop wasn't plugged in. It was getting to those last itty bitty moments of life. Okay. Sorry to interrupt, but I was just like, what the fuck? It's just lagging. And it's just like, I'm hearing you guys like, the whole rest of the. But anyway, yeah, little plastic people. Good build, guys.
Okay, so Little Plastic People. Okay, so we're flipping the script to our first feature, and it's by Ed Miranda on Instagram. He didn't really leave a description, just the name of the build, and the build name is the Gionidas Spartan.
nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Gionitis. Yeah,
Leonidas. Thank you.
Leonidas.
This is Sparta.
So remember, Z.
This is
a feature.
Clunkla.
This is
Feature.
a feature.
For me, this
Is a feature.
is a feature.
So so if anybody doesn't know, this is a Gyan, right? I don't think he didn't mention whether or not this was a high grade monster grade. So
Yeah, I think it is. I agree.
I think it's probably the 100.
From the other things that are built around it. Well, yeah.
I don't know why this thing is playing it twice, but I don't really particularly.
Yeah, no, they're loaded twice. So you can see that he used a sprue up there at the top or a gate to make that upper piece on the standard, the round part. You know, that's your standard
mass. Yeah.
round ring of the standard.
I thought that was a ship.
It's clever.
Yeah, so
It's clever. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. I love this
I really
picture
like the
specifically.
concept of this
Weathering
build.
on the shoulder. Yeah, I love the weathering on
It's
the
real
shoulder.
moody.
The paint is a little thick, but I love the
It's a
chipping.
feature. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying though. I love the chipping. You can tell. It's great, though.
Is it hand painted?
Yeah.
It doesn't.
I don't think
I mean,
so.
if it is, I can't see any
The
brushing.
shipping looks like
It's good.
reductive. It's so really very, very fucking good, guys.
Yeah.
For like
Bill, you need to. Okay, good. He needs to restart. Okay.
He really got together a good bunch of parts to convey a Spartan. Like that Kid Bash works really, really well.
I believe it's a Trojan.
So those
I believe
legs
it's
are
This
Roe.
is the fan.
Yeah,
Yeah, those lower legs are Roe legs. That's a high grade.
yeah.
Okay.
I got it all over this, baby.
I like the
I
cape.
love it though,
He
man.
did a really good job with the cape.
Yeah.
How it
Yeah.
stays firm.
Right?
I do
agree,
believe
it's hard.
he wired it to get
It's
the
hard
flow.
to get the fabric, right,
Possibly.
Julio? Right on that, or weren't you thinking about getting some scaled fabric for your boba? You were talking about that last
Yeah.
night. How it's tough to get that stuff to look right. It looks good.
Yeah, can't use
Yeah.
the stock.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Miguel, thanks
Yeah,
for
it is really
spelling that out. I appreciate everybody in the chat looking out for me.
Just trying to keep Z in check. We don't want to break any more hearts.
I do want to take just for a second to shout out Miguel for not just keeping me on my toes, but also it's 2 a.m. where he is and he's watching us and hanging out. Really do
there you go.
appreciate that, guys.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Well, that's right, because he's home for the holidays.
that's right. Yeah.
His rise from Great Fall. So Z's the protagonist in this story.
All I did, I'm like kind of like
The
I'm like Mr.
antagonist.
Glass. I'm like Mr. Glass. You know,
Just trying to create heroes.
help Miguel realize his full potential.
He used 2 different tones of red in here. Really, really great.
Yeah, and even,
Yeah, with the
like,
chest
shading-
and the fan.
Yeah,
and I feel like there's like some because even the red gets darker near kind of like the skirts. I really enjoyed the fact that he paid attention to kind of like usage, like where the armor would be scratched up, obviously detailed, you know, to the damage work and stuff. It's really cool. I like it. The concept, even if you look at the kind of the mast, there's the streaking on that flowered shape kind of pattern there makes sense, like where it's going down, not just randomly sideways or whatnot, right? So I feel like he used a number of techniques like sponging, like even on if you look at the wrist guards, you can see the metal, you can see the wear,
wear and
you can see the
tear.
color, very cool.
Yeah, I like it. Very, very well executed. Just
he
the whole
painted-
theme of it too. Come on, 300. That's
That's
a
right.
sure winning right there.
He painted 2 different hands for the right hand so they can have that open finger and it'll slide into that like Damascus
For
blade
the-
he has. It's really well
For the
thought.
spear.
Very cool.
I enjoy it. And then popping on those arrows, really nice. I wonder if those are magnetized or just holes. He just
I don't know.
into.
I'm pretty sure they're just holes.
Yeah, probably right.
Yeah.
Really nice stuff.
Yeah.
Great work.
Yeah.
I love the shoulder pauldron design. Really nice too. Like, the head works so well. So well.
It reminds me of the Jagdoga.
Yes. I was gonna say that. Yeah.
But and the roughness of it actually adds to the look.
Yeah.
Nerf and nothing.
That's what I was saying when Pabs was like, no, this is a critique.
Well, you were saying something about thick paint, so I was like, no.
Yeah, it adds to it. It looks good. It's supposed to be there. It looks
supposed
good.
to be there. Yeah, exactly.
Slow your jets there.
Hey, Kensuke is hanging out with us. So hey, Ken.
Oh, Kensuke, what's up, mate?
Hawaii.
All right, so
Yeah, awesome.
awesome work.
Edwin, great job, man. Great job.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
Good job.
Reiki.
I'll wait to see what you do. If you guys don't follow him, please follow him at Edwirando on Instagram.
I don't think I do, but I will.
So
Do it now. Come on.
let's go back and flip to the other side of the coin, back to our critiques. And this time,
Nice other hat.
Ash and Pokemon. All right.
Is that your critiquing look? The hat goes backwards.
Over the
No,
top.
this is my feedback hat when I got the Ronin look, and then this is my critiquing hat.
Jesus. Okay, so let's go on to our next critique of the evening, and it is from this gentleman right here, Mr.
I know what the problem was.
Tinsley Stick. Now, so this build that he's submitting is a work in progress, and it is a
Excuse me. Sorry, guys.
extension for our cool build off Vercore. I think that's what I called it. I don't know why I made it so long. You guys, somebody should have stopped me. It's all your faults.
But
So,
we like you being all embarrassed.
well, I don't care. We're doing like so this is a submission for our critical build off. So if you guys don't know what that is, we are currently hosting. I spoke about it earlier, but we're doing a build off where anything goes as long as your base kit is a core Gundam. So any of the core Gundams, whether it's the core, the first core, core 2, the Alice, God, I don't know how many cores there are. The Animarize core.
The Animarize. Yeah, this is the Animarize. I stripped off the armor and I added in some stuff from a really old F91 kit. So anything goes. Do whatever you want. I just modified the so far it's just like an impromptu whip. Just modified the parts to work. So you can do anything you want, guys. The world is yours.
Anything goes. Resin kits, whatever. Anything goes. Okay.
It literally just exploded in my hands.
If you want to marble it, go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
never hurt anybody. Except Miguel.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna go ahead and read off his description as I'm pulling up his photos.
So Chase, before you is Chase penciling stick? Is that penciling stick? Is that Chase?
I'm pretty sure it is. Yes.
Okay.
Tight. What
Yeah,
up?
no worries. We love whips, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whips are- yeah.
Oh yeah.
That is the bread and butter. It's the bread and butter. Yeah. So, bring him on. So, okay, here we go. So his description goes, I haven't come up with a name for this, but this is a work in progress for my core Gundam entry. I still need my core Gundam 2 to arrive. I wanted to expand upon the idea of the core Gundam and its armor by adding this as the base that the core Gundam will go into. I wanted to go for a mobile suit that was high mobility type, but packed a heavy punch. The skull is there because the crossbone is my favorite Gundam, so I just added it. And that is how everybody should be thinking.
Hell yeah.
So I can take a look at his work in progress.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
You gotta love a Zeta. You just got it. Nice.
Double Zeta.
Yeah.
Zeta crossbone.
Same difference.
Be a Zap Bone.
Okay, so I'm just going to be honest here. I read his description, I looked at the suit, and I didn't get either of the two attributes he was wanting, right? So, high mobility, there's no thrusters, verniers, there's no additive on that. The heavy, okay, he has the missile pods, but that's it, It just seemed like he took the legs of the double Zeta and put them on there because he liked the aesthetic without thinking about his overall idea. Yes, I know. I'm being harsh.
No.
No.
Dude.
I get where you're coming from, Bill. You're right. Like when I think high mobility, I think thrusters. And as far as I can see, besides the little side lake vents, they're not even considered thrusters. There's no thrusters in the kit. So with this being a work in progress, just keep that in mind that if you want to keep the nomenclature of high mobility, just maybe include some more thrusters.
That's the reason why I am being so harsh, is because it's still a whip, right? So that he can listen to these comments and reevaluate where he's going.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm with you, Bill. Don't worry.
No, he's got the
you're
thrusters
good.
on the back. He does have some thrusters on the back, but they don't really. I don't know where they're exactly.
They're straight back. So unless it's a ground type, then
Well, I mean, so there's some thrusters on the right below the knees, and there's some on the back, and I'm assuming the high mobility is kind of like quickly getting out of the way of an attack.
So I'm gonna stop everyone for 1 second, because I'm looking at this work in progress, and I like Bill is right. Like I don't see the things that he's trying to point out. I'm also not seeing a core Gundam in here.
I was about to say that earlier, but I didn't want to be like the dummy where we're not really talking about core Gundams.
I didn't know how he was playing on it.
I would have been in the clear. Why did I hold myself back? You're right. There is no core Gundam elements in this current build.
And if I remember right, on one of the pictures that he has in here, he has 2 different size hands. Or was that another build?
I think the O, and then the other one is I think the Zeta.
Yeah.
So he's got 2 different hands in there.
So
so Chase, you're in the chat. Feel free to let us know what you're thinking.
Call me an a-hole. Go ahead.
It's like, my feelings.
So with something, moving fast or trying to go fast, a lot of that armor is going to be streamlined and not as blocky as you would have on those calves. And I think you might have to add a backpack just for the added maneuverability of it. Like it can go fast with straight thrusters, but to have something that can pivot and move, and you might have to add a backpack. Honestly.
Well, the theory is in space you don't have air draft.
Yeah.
So that's why a blocky construction still works. But also, here's a little physics lesson for you guys. As Newton's third law, every action has a reaction. So when you have thrust propelling you forward, you have a force propelling you backwards. So you need armor to sustain some kind of integrity in whatever you're operating. So I don't know. You could play both cards.
Yeah, there's a balance to it.
Yeah. As long as you can justify it, no one.
Yeah, he said he was waiting for the core too.
Tight.
That's right. Okay, good. Okay, I just wanted to make sure like this wasn't like pretty much his concept without anything else. So okay, cool.
Yeah, and honestly, so I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, over 10 thrusters. So this thing can definitely move if it needs to.
And,
there you go. I didn't see that
what
image.
I'm talking about. See, they're all straight in the back, so unless if it's a ground type, really doesn't make much sense.
They're also in the back, but then if you look at the shoulder ones on the front,
he's got angle adjustments,
and then the knees as well. So there's something there, but again, it's very early concept. Looks like for Chase. So
I would say add some on left and right because you got a lot of forward and back, and like around, but like left and right, you don't have a lot of maneuverability that way.
If this is kind of the silhouette that you're going for, and you said that the crossbone is one of your favorite mobile suits, try to take some design elements from that thing, because it is very difficult to combine a sharp-edged or angled mobile suit with a rounded kind of curvy pieces and stuff like that. So
like the crossbone,
so when you're adding stuff like the shoulder stuff here, it looks out of place. Even if you paint this, it's still going to look out of place because a lot of this kit, the double Zeta, is very harsh angles and very sharp and stuff like that. So try to make sure that you're marrying those two concepts together well. And I know the crossbone does it quite well. So use some design elements from that and see if you can take it further.
On the
That,
skull, what I was going to say was, having it right there on the chest looks out of place, but maybe try putting it in the face or in the head somewhere where it would kind of blend in more.
Yeah, you can make it into that V-fin. That will look really cool.
So I have a suggestion for you, Chase. With you being a fan of the crossbone, I feel like that's a better platform with the core because dimensionally they're similar in size. Crossbone, very small kit. The core Gundam, even smaller. The Double Zeta, especially it's a big kit in any form, whether it's 144 or 1100. Trying to take a small core Gundam and implement it into a bigger Gundam is going to be very challenging, especially when you're putting around elements. So maybe it's worth at least looking into taking the crossbone and seeing how that might implement with whatever core Gundam you're picking. So there's a different variety of core Gundams between the Atlas, Earthtree, and et cetera, et cetera. They'll have their different, one's more round, one's more, sharp edge. So depending on what core you're using, maybe put them side by side and see if that ends up being a better direction for you. Never throw things out. You might be surprised what changes.
Yeah, and if you're going to stick with the circular kind of the green thrusters there on the shoulder, maybe move them to where you see the ankle thrusters are on this kit, where you see the rounded front part with the exhaust in the back. Maybe they match up better there, and try to find something else to add to the shoulder. And for the front thrusters, the ones right above, kind of like the ankle guards or right below the cap or the knee there, maybe look for square thrusters versus round thrusters.
I think
so you're trying to treat it like two different suits. Okay. Chase
shoulder pod.
Chase said that he's trying to treat it like two different things where it breaks apart, like the Bawu.
The Bawu and then the Double Zeta. Double Z.
Okay.
Once you get the core too, you'll have a better idea of how everything will come together.
And what I'll say on that, Chase, is if you're planning on going that route, you really need to focus on what you're going to do to the legs to make that balance, right? Because the difference, all the thrusters on the top, except for just a couple small ones on the bottom, you really need to work in that balance between the two halves.
Yeah, the missile pods on the shoulders are a bit jarring. I think if you put them on the arms, they would flow a lot better. The core
backpack
uses a lot of like arm weaponry.
Yeah,
they will look really nice on the armor.
He could do something really cool by making a backpack that is attached to the legs. So when it splits apart, it goes down the legs, and that's where all the thrust for the legs is. Meanwhile, it's got the top half has its own. Like I said, there's all kinds of things you can do. It's just you gotta really work on the balance between the two parts. You almost have to work it as two separate builds rather than one, right?
Yeah.
Agreed. And I know this is very early on, so I'd love to, for you to either IMS or whatever, some updates that you've been doing since this.
If you want to see the mix. If you want to submit more work in progress of this thing, Chase, feel free to because
I'd definitely love to see the transition.
Yeah, I'd love to see where you take this because it's the idea is completely out of my wheelhouse. So
I think those legs are going to look great with the core Gundam, kind of like Brian's, where the bottom, like knee down, is real chunky.
I do have
actually, Brian's current progress on his is a great kind of look at marrying, like what I was saying earlier, the rounded angles and the rounded shapes with harsher and sharp angles. Yeah. So if you take a look at his work and then see if you can get any, take any ideas.
I got the photos on my Instagram.
There you go.
You'll be greatly surprised how small the core is. It is very jarring, and
Yeah,
then
it's really
actually
small.
physically seeing it, you'll, especially when you build it with the auxiliary armor, you'll get a good perspective of actually if what you're trying to do is achievable, or if you need to kind of change course. Because I'm going to tell you now, yeah, the core, you're like, what the. You may see pictures and other people talk about size, but until you experience it, it's like, oh my god, this thing is so fucking
Right.
small.
It's a very
It's
small
jarring.
thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, let me, yeah, Chase. So hopefully, at Pensley on Instagram. Everybody follow him. See if we can. If you want to submit more work in progress photos, I'm definitely welcome it, man. We'd love to see how this kind of goes along once you have your core going, so we can see where your concept goes.
Yeah, this would
Yeah,
be
I can't
beneficial
wait
to
to
other
check it
people
out.
doing it as well, because most people are going to want to kit bash the core with something else, and by seeing how you handled your challenges, that will help other builders facing similar challenges.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
if you glue everything together, but be careful taking it apart.
Yeah, absolutely. That's gonna be a problem right there. So, yeah, Chase, keep us updated, man. If you want to submit, please do. If you don't, DM any one of us, and we'll give you our input.
Yeah, straight up.
Definitely.
Anytime.
Yeah. All right. So, let's move on to our next critique. I'm trying to power on here. We're going a little bit over in some of these.
Oh no.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and it is, where did it go? What the hell? Oh, there we go. Great. All right. So on to our next critique, and it is by this gentleman right here, Mr. at RangeChris61.
Hey,
Oh yeah.
The show. He's I see him in the chat quite often throughout most of our shows. So he went ahead and submitted a build for critique, and the build name / background is the Green Tiger Dome was inspired by a build from the series Plamo Tsukuro that had a very impressive tiger pattern paint scheme. For mine, however, I wanted to do it in green, and I wanted to try using SMS brand paints. Also, for the metallic chest piece, use Uchi Van der Roos metal pigments. So let's go ahead and share his screen right here, and that would really help if I had it.
It's crazy by the way.
I'll say this: the pictures that he submitted don't do it justice. The busy background. I wish he had just put a piece of paper behind it at least, so that
Yeah. Focus on the kit centrally.
yeah. Also, it is super shiny.
So shiny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
I
the
can't-
direct light doesn't benefit
because of
it.
how shiny it is.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's why I started semi-glossing my glosses. But yeah, sorry. Carry on.
So for me,
Having that super gloss is cool in a couple of places, but when every single surface is that, it just loses its luster.
Yeah. I think one change that I would have made was where you've added the camo, maybe go matte there.
Mm-hmm.
And that contrast between the matte and the gloss would have definitely stuck out.
Right, and or adding like a white, like a couple drops of white. Is what I have to work with. No, we respect that, bro.
Yeah.
Completely. Just trying to add some tips.
Understood.
You get like a couple drops of white to a couple of panels, like not like full white, but like a couple drops of white in the, or yellow or whatever, or orange in the green to change the tint of the green just slightly to give it more of a dual shade. I realize you're working with that SMS. I haven't worked with those yet. They seem cool. I mean, I know USHS sells them, and what about you guys? Have
So
you guys used
with
SMS yet?
SMS, you can mix
SMS is
paint
phenomenal.
still. You can
Right.
and you can extra thin them and stuff. Like you're not kind of stuck to what you have. You can get creative
Talk to-
beyond what you're stuck with.
well, guys,
Talk
one
to
at a time.
Julio, and he'll lend you some colors.
Oh yeah, Julio, that's right. He's got a bunch for the big kit bash thing.
Yeah.
Big kickback.
I think some like dark gray, maybe even like mid-tone gray in certain areas would have definitely made that green pop a bit more. Like the green's really solid, but just breaking it up would have looked incredible.
Yeah, and there's definitely some pre-shading there to break it up. I think the pre-shading is very on the edges for the most part, and that's why it's not as broken up as we'd like to see.
I don't know. I like the appreciating though on it.
I don't
know?
like it.
I
I'm
think
saying
it's
I
very
want to see
subtle.
more.
I think it's really nice.
I'd like to
Time.
see it in more areas where it
Mm.
transitions from dark green to light green versus just kind of that line. The one thing I will say though is there's parts
I
of
should run glass. Okay.
this kit where you can. It's very obvious to see that there's particles or hairs
That's
and
yeah, man.
whatnot.
Yeah.
So
I
just
think
be
it could just be the
careful.
light.
Yeah, no. I'm saying they're
No,
stuck
there's a
in
little
that-
bit. You can see it.
Yeah, they're
If
stuck
you can
in
steal one of these, like if you got a girlfriend, you can steal one of these, or if not, you can go and buy one from a drugstore for nothing. This is just a makeup
Yeah,
product.
Walgreens.
For
Yeah.
it's at your drugstore or whatever you can get.
Yeah, just something to be mindful of because especially on a glossed kit, you're gonna see those kind of things a lot more.
I
He
am
says he was going for
this,
the
man.
showroom shine, but even on a showroom, not every single surface is super shined. That way, what is shiny stands out more. You know,
I'm trying.
I didn't get
But
that.
you go and look at a car, the wheel wells aren't super shined up, right? So, you know,
Well, you get like satin trim pieces and stuff. Yeah.
but just too many surfaces are super shiny.
Mm.
Yeah, leather here would have been mint.
I do
It's
like the
really
little
wild to see the
camouflage
pattern.
texture he did.
Yeah,
The metallic pigment worked really well for you.
Mm.
Yeah,
Worked
it's
extremely
right
well.
there.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice
That's a
shine
big-
on those things. Yeah, that's what
Oh,
he said.
that's really nice. I didn't realize. I missed.
Yeah.
I didn't. I glossed over that.
His
when I was-
his cowl on the head is very
Yeah.
shiny.
Yeah, I know.
It took
very
me a
well
while
done.
to see the pattern because I thought it was just reflection of light. You know,
No, it's yeah.
Oh, in the
It's
camera.
chrome.
Yeah.
It's definitely like a dark chrome.
That's crazy. That pigment is it? Are those fingerprints? Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, so there's fingerprints and like
Yeah,
this is the
that's
picture
rough.
I'm talking about where you'll see the hair kind of on the shoulder. And I don't know if this little white speck here right above, yeah, that right there. I don't know if that's something stuck there or a reflection because
It looks like something stuck.
No, that's his. No, it's a block. It's his block light. He's using two lights. He's using a halo light, and then he's using
Yeah, you can see a strip.
my block
Yeah.
lights like this. So
No, that's a
no.
that's a piece of something because that's
Oh.
the corners.
Oh
are
yeah, it's a crisp.
Yeah,
it's a
hard
crisp
edge.
line.
bad. Good one. Are you sure?
It's
Oh,
right there in between the shoulder too.
what does he have? Is it the same thing on the other
Whatever
side?
that is.
Back too.
no, that's a reflection.
That's
That's
a
a-
I
reflection.
think it's a hard edge right there, Pat.
Yeah,
the one on
that's
the
a hard
shoulder. Yeah,
See,
that's actually like a beveled piece. But on the shoulder, the top of the
right, Chris? You know what that is? He says it's the
yeah,
light.
that's the
Yeah, he
shoulder.
says it's the fucking
That's a
light.
lot.
Yeah, and again, we're super zoomed in, so we're seeing all this, but like you could just see kind of like the little pieces of dust and hairs are there.
Yeah, I
just-
know. We're being
Like-
super anal about it too. Sorry.
Well, that's the
Yeah,
main
it's
of a gloss
nitpicking,
kit.
dude.
You got to be careful of
Yeah.
dirtiness. Like
Slow
I
down,
suffer
slow
from
down.
it with a lot of mine.
Yeah, and on this one, so I know you use alkali chrome, you said. So look at your fingerprints in the light. Alkali takes a long time to cure. So when you're handling it, wear a glove.
Well, it's just
Otherwise,
the
you're
cowl.
gonna get
Yeah, even after it cures,
Great, don't touch it
you
for
can
like
leave fingerprints.
2 weeks.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would have loved to seen this just standing with his arm down. You know, just
I think
feel
isn't
like-
there a picture with him?
Like Hero
Saber
Pose.
Tooth?
Yeah.
No.
Wasn't it the very first
Okay.
pick?
For some reason, I thought he had
No,
both arms.
the first picture had it up as well. It's the same pose throughout the entire photo.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
just standing there would look really cool. I think
Hmm.
the arm being up like that takes away from the work that went into his chest and face a bit. But
Yeah.
it's a
They
nice
do a
build.
variety of poses. These kits move them
Yeah.
into different positions to get different photo opportunities.
Agreed.
I would have loved a waist extension.
Don't get me wrong. I love what you did. I'm a huge Dom fan. So seeing what you did here is really cool. It's just how bright it is. You have so many details in there, and it's really difficult for me to pick them out.
I get it. I mean, it also doesn't help that you have such a colorful background. Even if you could have just taken your cutting mat and just put it behind, like in front of those boxes,
and
Would've been more
also
of a focus.
diffuse the light a little bit more.
You know,
So, take a white T-shirt and put it in front of the light for when you're taking the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know
It'll
you
let
said
light
that.
through, but it diffuses it.
Yeah, and he's got master plans to set up a photo area, so I know they'll get better. And just last thing is, I will tell that Flock Wolf 190. I'd love for you to finish that and submit that as well, Chris.
All right. Good eye, Z. I didn't even look at that up there in the corner. I was just looking at the back.
Because I know he's working on a plane right now, and I hope it's the Flock Wolf. But if you do, please do submit it. I'd love to take a look.
yeah. All right.
Chris.
But overall, great job, man. This is great.
A lot of people spend a lot of time trying to get this gloss finish that you've got here. So obviously for that, man. Don't get it.
Gloss is hard.
Yeah, don't get it this smooth or this white for a very long time. So obviously for that.
We can tell you put a ton of work into it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So at RangerQuest61, please give him a follow. And tell him to get to work on that Falk Wolf. So
you guys got that 1 to 48 Spitfire in there. Hell yeah.
Hell
That's the stuff I grew up building, man. Right on the money, bro.
I want to see you finish. What? No, he's not working on the Dom. Yeah, he's working on a Dom. I want to see that Dom finished.
Yeah, he's saying he's doing a group custom.
Is he working on a Dom too? Am I thinking about the wrong Chris?
That's a good place to go with the semi-gloss is the camouflage, because camouflage is supposed to blend with the background. You don't want it to stand out like gloss, so it's a good place.
CGMC happens, he will be in it.
Nice.
It says the messed up the decals on it and had to walk away. Same with the P47D of it.
Oh.
Can't you put
Make it a crashed
mark software on
aircraft.
there and remove the decals?
Not without
It depends. If you clear coat it over it, you might be too late.
That's true. But seeing as how he said he messed up, I wouldn't think he would clear coat with messed up decals.
You have to ask him to know what stage he was
That's
in.
true.
Hey, Chris.
But also it depends on like the older aircraft water decals. If you do, there's like a waiting period where they almost like embed themselves in whatever top coat or paint you do when they first settled. And to get them up, you have to get pretty aggressive, and you may actually damage the paint below. So it's not an easy process like it would be with modern decals. Yeah, they yellow with time. They're just they're an enigma in themselves. Those older water slide decals.
Yeah, my bad, Chris. I'm thinking about a whole different Chris. He's working on a Dom.
You're thinking about
Arizona Chris.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. That's what I'm thinking about. Completely different build. A lot of Chris's.
Well, Chris, submit to Spitfire, okay? Because I see that you finished that one.
Okay.
Get on it, Ab. Come on.
All right. Let's go on to our second feature of the evening. So we can take a break while we look at our A feature. So, this person is no stranger to the show.
Fail.
Hey.
Wow. All right.
Instant
fail already. Damn. Hey, you didn't say what she was going. What she?
Get out of here with that weak shit. I'm just kidding.
All right. So John Lynn, also known on Instagram as JS_Shack. You guys can follow her there, or you can check out her store at jshack.bigcartel.com if you guys like what you see. So let's go ahead and look at her description here, where it says it's called a pair of slime-crossed lovers, worlds apart. And then she says, snails are cool, yo. And then she said, spray painted base and hand painted the clouds, snails, and other details, done in all acrylic. Let's go. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, you killed it, John Lynn. I love it.
For those of you that don't know, John Lynn has a series of Haros.
She's on.
I own one of said Haros.
I have a couple. Yeah, I have a couple actually.
Of Haros.
Yeah. It's like an ongoing series. It's like a Turkish, series. It's like 500 episodes a season.
All unique too, which is impressive
Yeah.
because to do as many as she has and have a different design for every single one of them, like not even like, oh, it's just similar but different. No, like vastly different. That's dedication right there. Gotta give it to Jay on that one.
I like it.
I like she treats them like if you guys remember Dunnies. You guys remember Dunnies?
Yeah. Vinyl.
Right?
Yeah.
So you- vinyl toys and stuff. You used to get like vinyl pop toys, and then paint them up. There were blanks.
Tag 'em up and
There
all
were
that.
high-end ones that were made by designers. There were exclusives, and people were really into them. I may actually be doing some work with a vinyl toy maker soon. So,
Ooh,
just painting work. I get no fame out of it. I just get money.
it's fun and a paycheck. That sounds like a win to me.
Pay the fucking bills, man. That's what it's about. But
I really like how you used like pale beige for the sky in the background. Normally you would see like a blue or a light blue, but this contrasts really well with the green and makes the two lovers pop.
yeah, and it also allows her the ability to use the purples and the blues and the mushrooms and the snails to give them more of a focal point.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the clouds
Really
too.
nice
Like
shot.
the clouds aren't trying to clash with some off-white color. They're actually, they're clouds. No
Yeah.
question.
Billowy.
Hell yeah. And Manny over here says he has 2 of Jordan's horrors.
So do I, Manny. So do I.
Manny.
So do I.
I got those. I got keychains.
I haven't
man.
I literally use
Those
them like
rose.
no
I
shit.
haven't been blessed with a Jordan horror yet. Yeah, really cool, really cool. I mean, I love the fact that you've just taken these little balls, and just made them
Mhm.
canvases.
Yeah, because the Haro's like what, this big?
It's very
the size of a core Gundam.
Yeah.
Reproducing tribbles. I love it.
And then, of course, John says, big thanks to Bob Ross for teaching me how to paint clouds. Big thanks to Bob Ross for teaching me how to be a chill individual.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
makes clouds. There you go.
Happy clouds. Happy clouds.
Happy. Yes.
There are no mistakes. Just happy coincidences.
J-Shack.
Let's just
You guys can go to that store and use my discount code Ronin10 to save 10%.
Huge 10.
huge
Or
10.
choose 10. Yeah.
You can't use
Yeah.
mine.
I think Freddie has one, but fuck that. Okay.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah. So yeah, if you guys want to check out any of her work, I know she also has some regular canvases on there, as well as I know she's starting to sell some vinyl stickers,
T-shirts.
buttons, t-shirts, tie-dye t-shirts. And a lot of these are Gunpla and Gundam related. So definitely check them out.
Fucking Miguel.
I'm going to just briefly
He's
show
not
that.
sponsored by us.
And Jay, while we're on your showcase, some good news for you. Your prize from last season, the Unicorn Perfect Grade, as of today has
Well, hold on. There is a caveat to that. There is a small caveat to that. All right. Z is sending the kit one runner at a time.
It's like a subscription.
Directions
you
last.
get a runner
Yeah.
and you get a page.
Yeah.
And
So
by
what you need to
2035, you'll be done.
What you need to do is you need to build whatever's on that runner for you to get the next runner.
You have only that one singular runner, and you have to make all of it work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the
gaps.
instruction sheet is completely for a different runner. So,
Have at it.
We all know John. And for those of you that don't know, we all know John Lynn personally, and we love her dearly, and that's why we joke around so much. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
don't think
Also-
we're being intentionally cruel to some stranger.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
We only do that to our loved ones.
Great job, John. Great job. But keep an eye out for it. It should be there in 2 or 3 days, hopefully. So make sure your mailman doesn't just drive off with it.
Please, yes. It's a big box. Be careful. All right. So
What
So
area
again,
code is that? So I can bribe a mailman?
And then Jay even blessed us with Christmas cards this year. So,
Aw.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, I got a fox.
I remember Z showed it, and I was like, "What's that? It looks familiar." Oh yeah, it's a Christmas card.
Also, I went over to see Texas or Aerial Stream because Texas is on right now. Hendren, you traitor.
Oh wow! Wow! All right, great.
What happened?
He's watching that.
Is she
He's
talking
watching-
smack about Z?
Well, no, he's not watching us. He's watching Aerial.
Oh man, I'm gonna think about that when I see that wing come across the table.
First, this man tries to spoil the Mandalorian for me early in the morning. Now he's off watching some other show.
Right.
Gotcha.
Also, Mr. Julian Stemsky.
Doubly noted.
I'm making a list.
Hendren also told me he thought I was going to eat my resin kit.
There you go for Manny. I, for one, cannot wait to see the masterpiece artwork that Jonathan is going to do on that unicorn.
Word up.
There you go. All right. So, so if you guys don't follow, and I don't know why,
Jones.
Instagram, JShack with an underscore, and then store jshack.bigcartel.com. Buy stuff if you can. Show some support, show some love. And I am also very, very sorry for you. Sorry, Miguel.
Yo, can we cancel
We
Hendren?
know not to read his
Cancel
posts.
Hendren 2021.
Can we cancel Hendren? Unfollow Hendren. I'll give you $1.
$5.
He's supposed to be a modeling page. He's like, here, Star Wars. First thing in the morning.
It wasn't even like a subtle. Here's Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
It was terrible. I was very.
Oh yeah, spoilers for those who haven't seen the episode.
I haven't seen the episode, and I have not seen his post.
Oof.
Oh,
That's
wait,
what
wow,
comes
sorry.
from-
We should ruin it for Bill.
I'm going to cancel myself right now.
Blame Z. Blame Z.
You stuff like that? I don't know.
All right. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and go back to our next critique.
2021.
I'm going to recall that packet, Jay.
Let's go ahead and move on to our next critique of the evening. And I think we made this man wait long enough. So let's go ahead and go on Instagram. Mr. Miguel Crespo in the chat. I know you're in there, so I mean. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna get this description out of the way fully before I even show anything. Because first of all, you didn't send me enough photos. Please send more. And so
this ain't your first rodeo.
your first radio. Send more next time. All right. So.
Yo, you know that part in different movies where people are like they have no confidence and they leave.
Bum, bum, bum.
All right.
Well,
Let's get to the background. It's Bill
I'm going to be doing a live critique of this since Pabs didn't give me this person's. Go ahead.
Then it would be super genuine.
He only gave me 4 names that we were going to critique.
Yeah, so there was a
Yeah,
it was a quick update to the list. So
I failed to get.
Yeah, so there was a slight change, like very last minute. So I apologize, but we did have to add just one name, and it was this gentleman right here. So let's go ahead and talk about this build name background before, because this is very long and I want to get it out of the way.
Okay.
So here we go. September 22nd, 2020. It was one of the last warm nights of that summer here in Toronto. There was a serene calmness in the air that night as the cars drove by and some enthused pedestrians circled the area, enjoying the last rays of warm sunlight we were accustomed to before the harshness of winter settles in. I'd been living in a disposed cardboard box marked only as Great Value Mustard since August 29th. That cursed night changed my life forever. That night, I would be marked as a fail. Live in front of the world, about 15 people.
I'm going to go and cook something really quick, about an hour. Maybe you'll be done by the time I get back.
Let's keep going.
Let's go.
I was eating my $1 refried bean burrito, as it had become habit these days since losing my job, my career, and my manhood when I heard a strange commotion in the distance. As I had lost all my self-confidence, I begrudgingly decided to look down and continue with my valued meal. But it became apparent that this incessant background noise wasn't going away. So I got out of my box, wrapped myself in the Mickey Mouse blanket I found in a dumpster behind our local 7-Eleven, and dragged myself to the epicenter of this kerfuffle. To my bewilderment, another street bum, like myself, grabbed me by the neck, and with his canned corn breath, yells, "It's happening! It's here! Season 2 of Critical Bills was just announced." That was the moment. That was the moment I decided to discard my great value mustard box and return home to my wife and kids to restart not only my life, but a brand new Gunpla kit. It was time to stick it to the Ronin.
There's your redemption story arc, guys.
Anyway, here's my Monster Grade Wing Gundam Ver KA. So we're gonna share that right now. That was long. Here we go. I'm not a big fan of deviating from the original colors of mobile suits, but I'm damn happy I did it this time around. Along with the custom panel lines and added details, evergreen plastic beams, I was aiming for a more burgundy? I don't know how to say that word. Look on this one. I tried taking into consideration all the previous advice from Critical Builds, trademarked, carrying small color details throughout the entirety of the kit. The inner frame has a gloss coat, and the rest is all coated in flat, with the exception of the small metallic blue/green details throughout. I couldn't find water decals for this kit, so I ended up freestyling it with some different ones. As always, I'd appreciate any and all feedback, even if it's a fail.
So I'm gonna come out and say this is a win.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
let me
Success.
start, Julio. Let me start. No, go ahead. I absolutely love the color scheme on this and the different shades, variations of the colors you have on here, especially on that wing with the light gray, the darker gray, the gold, the dark blue, the light blue, the teal, or the aqua blue, then the darker gray, even this, and the smooth execution on the paint itself too. So right off the bat, dude, definitely not a fail. A fucking win, 100%. I love the way this thing looks.
Pabs, it's bourgeoisie.
Bourgeoisie, thank you, Ryan. I was
like, what were the kids not be able to?
Yeah, it was like, I don't remember that there being a challenging word in that one. fancy lingo.
Stop it. My simple mind can't handle it. All right, so
Miguel hit us with the college level writing. I couldn't hang.
Yes, he did. So I'm gonna, I actually love the color scheme you gave the wing here.
Next time you gotta have me read that shit. I'll give you my radio.
My accent didn't do it enough for you. All right, I got it.
Brian, would you say that Pab's reading that was a fail?
No. He read it, you know. He didn't like his mouth didn't spontaneously combust. He's fine.
Yeah.
Guys, we're not critiquing Pabs. We're critiquing Miguel.
Oh, we are. We always critique Pabs.
Back to Miguel. All right, so
We'll get him
a
later.
couple of things that I noticed is your masking got a little sloppy in some parts. So just be careful with these small details. I love that you're adding these details, but just give them the same amount of attention and care that you do with the larger pieces. Because if you look at this green on the knee right here, this is masking is
As
very
Monty
short.
Python says, man, every sperm is precious.
There you go. So be very careful with that. Otherwise, I love your color schemes, man. This color scheme is really cool looking on the wing. It gives it a very regal look, whereas the original the original wing colors, while it is a staple color of red, white, yellow, and blue, it gives it a very toyetic look. And this definitely does not look that way to me. So.
Some of the panels in the front skirt got a little shaky here and there, but solid overall.
Yeah. Another thing I also noticed
One
is
corner right there.
some shoddy panel line motion just gotta clean up a little bit. It's not as noticeable, obviously, since it's a dark, so it's a darker color scheme on a dark background. So looking at the images, but maybe seeing this in person, it might be a bit more noticeable. Just be careful.
I like the balance of the shiny versus matte on the paint scheme. That's really nice.
Yeah, I like
Makes
that gold
everything. Every time you see something shiny, it just jumps out at you.
Yeah, got more pop.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of bling, but it's not too much bling.
Right.
Right. Exactly. I love that you paid attention to the detail in the bottom of the feet. Added detail there. The like especially on the calf, like that gold. Like I know you scribed those lines there and added that gold detail. I love that. And again, like echoing, but you see how right there that bottom line on that calf is rough.
You also have some
below it. Looks like
Then
there
you
was
see
a
residual scratch.
just gonna be a bit careful, and if you feel like you're starting to kind of rush through things, then that means you are losing a little bit of patience, and take a break.
Yeah, step back, get a cup of tea, get a digestive.
Yeah.
The gold rimming on the gauntlets, really, really nice. I like that. Like it feels regal. It feels really regal.
It reminds me of a color scheme for a paladin in Diablo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that with the way the gold flaring works with his silvers, I think.
Yeah.
I like that two-tone blue. It's good.
Oh yeah, I mean everything complements.
Turquoise.
Yeah, there's
So,
very,
do
very
me a
little.
favor.
Go ahead.
Go to the very first picture. I want to make note that look at the composition of this picture, how the wings are more in focus and stand out with the light choice. I really like how he actually set up this composition, this picture. Like it's got the dynamic, lighting from the saber, and then the wings are shining to kind of give the outline of those still being visible without being washed out behind them. Because if he did not put any light on the wings, that would have been even darker in the background. So I think the composition of lighting on how he has this set up really sets up well. It's almost like the golden
ratio.
How you've got the light of the wing coming through, and then again coming back around to the saber and the head.
There's a couple of things I would have changed with this composition here, because even though he's not hitting the golden ratio, he's hitting the rule of thirds. So if I
It's okay. I got a mix between the two, but yeah.
If I think it's edit and create, yeah. So if I edit this, hoping you guys can see that. Okay, cool. Let me see if I can do a straightening here. Okay, here we go. So if you look at the grid here, right? Because I can't hold it. So you kind of wanna, if you look at every third square, right? So there's 9. It's a 9 by 9 square, right? So every third line is where the rule of thirds should hit. So he's technically hitting it, right? So you're looking at where the third lines intersect.
Right to the head and chest
is where your eye naturally is following when you're looking at an image. The problem with Miguel's composition here is it's on the wrong side.
Yep.
Invert. You want to invert the
He
image.
inverted so I know he wanted to get the wings in there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fine. But now he has all this dead space right here, and that's why it's inverse. You want the dead space on the left-hand side always.
I was gonna say if you would have spread his arms a bit more and put his arm out, that would have filled some of that space and probably gave it a better look.
Yeah, or just zoom out a little bit, right? I know, and I get it. It's tricky because when you have a massive kit and you're trying to fit everything into one screen, you're gonna have dead space. But don't focus on getting up close. Focus on taking a sharper picture. So when we do zoom in, we'll be able to look at what you want us to see, the details that are there, versus forcing us to look at those details by taking a picture that's, kind of feels weird or awkward to look at because like now in front of this kit, there's nothing there, but behind it, there's all this dead space, right? So it just
I guess I'm on the opposite side. I love the pose. I love the amount of dead space because it gives that angelic feel. You know, a lot of paintings and drawings of angels, you only have one wing really defined, and the other one is going off into shadow. And then, you know, it completely conveys that type of feel to me.
Okay, I mean, I get what you're saying, Bill, but like because like with this pose, while most of it is fine, the reason why one wing usually is in the shadow and the other is more prominent is it's a 2D image trying to convey depth.
Perspective.
You're trying to get a 3D thing, and you're trying to take a photo of it, and you're trying to give it depth. So it's a little different in terms of
it's perspective. It's based on law of perspective.
Yeah.
Like in this picture here, on the top of it, the only thing on the top half of the picture is the beam saber blade, right? Once I see the kind of the bottom third of that beam saber, I know the rest of it is a beam saber. I don't need to see the rest of that. I'd much rather have that rest of that kit in the picture to look at versus, the beam saber goes all the way up.
So would this better to be cropped so you have just the wing centralized in the full frame of the image?
No, I think to fulfill this photo, he could have flipped those wings right up, flip them right up, and it would have looked wild, dude.
The problem with cropping
it would have filled up.
You're losing some of your detail and all that. It should have been a panoramic picture of just the kit.
I'm going to say that it's okay to cut some of your kit out of the picture. If you're taking multiple angles and / multiple poses, it's okay for you to omit some of that detail in some of your images. If you're submitting this into a competition or something like that, you want to make sure that you're highlighting the things that you've done and you're highlighting the highlights of your kit or your build. But it's also okay to have a picture dedicated to a certain aspect of your build, as long as you're shining the light on that. Yeah.
And the last thing I'll do touch on the photography part, Bill or Miguel. You see where the light on your background is above his head and making the background stand out. Had that light been overhead and behind it, this would have popped a lot more because you see the bright spot is above his head versus behind him.
Now, quick thought process for you guys, because I know we talked about this with Oscar. For that first image, I think most of his focus, I'm assuming he's assuming like using an F8 on the stop, is actually looks like it's aimed at, based on how I see it, it looks like it's aimed further back versus forward. Would it be better for him to put the focus on the chest and go to a lower f-stop to give more of a blur out on the background? Would that actually satisfy more of the composition in this rather than changing his pose?
It really depends on what he was going for. Right? So if he was going for a non-existent background, then that would have made sense. However, his darks here are very dark, and his lights are obviously quite bright. So he would have had trouble maintaining focus on a lot of those dark areas if that's what he was going for. But
so you'd have to either change your lighting or do a different background for that to really play through with a lesser clarity.
Right.
There's another option that he could have done here, which is put it at an angle so that you're seeing it like this, long ways across. So that
follow the
right. So
the
it seems like the suit is leaning forward, and you would get a lot of that feel. It would change the composition without having to change the stance.
Okay, so all good options for you, Miguel, when you go to photograph future kits and stuff, things to think about and consider. That's why I like to kind of cover this, because with both Pabs and Z having an immense amount of background in photography and product, I was like, hey, let's go talk about this shit because I know it'll help us all in the future.
Yeah, and then again, my biggest thing with this kit, with the finishes, is again just watch what Pat just said. There's different where you have this turquoise color details. There's definitely some over spray here and there. So just watch that. The masking, yeah. Just watch that. Otherwise, man, it's great. It's great.
Yo,
Yeah,
this is nice. We can only critique the photography.
Yeah, honestly,
Dude.
your color schemes are on point. The details you added, great. Like the details you removed, great. The only thing we can really talk about at this point is just the angles of your shots. And honestly, this picture right here is your best shot.
Yeah, it really is. Look at the eyes. Look at the eyes. You are drawn to the eyes.
Oh yeah,
They pop.
Think about those front skirts, man, where that panel line just dies right at the edge.
Yeah.
Think about what real armor does. It doesn't just stop.
I've talked to Miguel about this before, though. He knows how I feel about that situation. I know how he feels as well.
The last critique I'll give you on this one is the beam saber itself. Had you added a little bit more shading there or gradients there with some whites and whatnot, that beam saber would look a little bit more realistic versus just like a bright green.
Oh, for the glow.
Yeah, I've done something similar.
Yeah. Sorry, Peps, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say. I mean, I've done something similar to the H2 Magnum. You know, just adding a little bit of white heat from the source, and just make your way up. It just adds to it, and it doesn't take a lot of effort.
Give it a little 40K. Give it a little, whatever. A little bit of like look at it. What's that guy? Oh man, the guy that vapes all the time and drinks whiskey. Shit, what is that guy's name?
Pads.
No.
Sounds like a lot of people. Sounds like a lot of
This other
people.
guy's out in LA. His name is Boucher.
Bobby Boucher?
No. It's damn it. Oh well, sorry.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Mark? Good day.
So my final comment would be, you don't focus on having the model in the picture vertical. Focus on getting what you want in the shot. Sometimes you might have to adjust how you're holding the camera to get that perfect shot. A picture doesn't have to be straight vertical, standing on its, going straight up. It can be at an angle, and what you're seeing will be more in the shot.
Great.
Yeah. Go for more stylized approach to taking the picture, especially when you have a kit that has big exterior parts that you want to show off. So get stylized with it. Agreed.
Yeah. Like I said, don't be afraid to cut stuff off. As long as you are able to narrate what it is you wanted to show.
Just use taking a picture as part of your artwork. Make it part of your style.
Next
All
one.
right.
That's what I was thinking.
Great job, Miguel. As
Yeah,
always,
so Miguel,
definitely
Great job.
redemption.
I'll be honest with you here, man. This is my favorite build of yours so far.
Now,
Yeah.
Well,
one more
so
comment.
far, we got another one coming that he's working on, and I'm gonna
Go ahead, Bill.
put on the top of my list.
You're welcome, Miguel.
Go ahead, Bill. You said you had one more comment. What was the comment?
I already said it. Z, you're pain as
Oh,
shit.
When you build from a painful place, the place where you feel all the emotions, you really put out your best work.
Van
All right,
Gogh that
so-
shit. Cut off your ear and go to town on some Gunpla.
Right.
If you guys don't follow him, and I'm sure you already do, but I'm gonna say it anyway. At Gunpla Noob, the 2 O's in Noob are zeros. Get this man's numbers upward.
Yeah, I would suggest you change your name now. You're no longer a noob building shit like that good.
Stop
Oh,
putting
it's
this
on-
man in
don't-
the beginner's category.
Gunpla Media.
Yeah.
So give him a follow. So with that, let's go ahead and look at our final kit of the day, our final feature. And it is by, I don't know why I chose this one.
It's
as
the
last
final
one.
feature. It's the final feature.
Whatever, let's
Sing
do
it with us, Paps. It's the final feature.
Yo, he was wrong.
He was always wrong. Always, always, with everything he does is wrong. Everything.
Yes, Ty. Always.
Feature.
We're trying to say.
All right, so let's go ahead and share this man's. So this is another work in progress build. Instagram at Freddy was wrong. Twitch twitch.tv/ Freddy was wrong. He streams on a day that ends with Y. So some I don't know. So check him out. And his name is the build name is the Bone Core Starship Troopers Looking Ass Gundam. Background here is he wanted to keep the upright Gundam thing, but figured this looked cooler. So let's go ahead and share it, and let's talk about it. But remember, this is a feature, so be nice.
Well, it's also Freddy, so we don't have to be nice.
Fail.
It's an obligation of ours to trash him.
I
do that enough on Instagram.
So my mother told me that if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all.
Okay, it's been a good night, guys. So thanks for having me. Bye.
I'm out.
Yeah, I agree, Ty. Miggy is now Darth Miggy.
Don't Mickey.
So yeah,
This I don't know what the hell Freddy's doing here.
This is probably the most unique submission of Critical Build Off so far.
Yep.
I want to say very different.
Freddy executing his charm like usual.
Yeah.
There's a call,
sir. No.
Yeah,
I absolutely love all the detail he put into it. I can't make heads or tails out of it, but I love the detail.
He's right.
It's basically a three-legged cannon.
So he started off. That's how he started off, right? He started off just adding weapons to the core gun.
He wanted bone armor. Yeah,
bone armor.
He wanted bone armor, and
then
turned
he gave up, and then he turned it into a Starship Trooper-looking insect bone thing.
Yeah,
I love a little Gatling gun on the bottom.
Yeah,
I really do like this. He completely thought outside of the box. Like, this is something I didn't see coming at all. Like, that's wild. Like, I didn't even think there was a core at some time.
He just, he's taking a Pikachu and turning it into
Nurgle
or something. I mean, he's very creative.
I thought he was going to keep it like a base robot, and keep it in that field. No,
he can't not do this. He has to go to the deep end and just go cam on the customization.
I mean,
in the more horrific venue, that's his MO. It's in his blood,
and that's fine. I mean, I absolutely love what he's doing. I just don't understand it.
Right. That's the thing with Freddy, right? I mean, he's incredibly creative.
Yeah.
And you can see both aspects of his creativity in this build. So you've got the bone stuff, and then you've got kind of taking something that you wouldn't think would look right, and is actually looking quite right. And then you've got his mechanical creativity with the hanging chain gun thing. Underneath, you can see some of the details he's starting to add to that. So he's got the sensibilities of a mecha modeler. He's adding bone stuff to it.
I mean, it's cool having the organic mixed in with the inorganic. That's completely cool. I mean, it's straight up Chaos Marines, right? But the thing with Freddy is you never know what he's thinking until it's done. So
that is Freddy.
I would have been more shocked if he left it a robot. I just don't
understand it yet.
If he would have did like a super clean paint job, like crazy, like something like Miguel did, I would have been surprised. Like, Freddy did this?
I'm like, you paid someone to do this.
But he's killing it right now. He really is. Like, this whole thing, everything's coming together really, really nicely. I did not see this coming out of a core Gundam. Like, it makes me want to get another one and make some wildness.
That plus,
I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes because Freddy is notorious for minuscule details that you don't even think exist. And you're like, oh shit! He's like a walking Easter egg creator in Gunpla. He embeds Easter eggs into his builds, and you're just like, oh. Big picture, you may not get what the hell it is, but you see the little details. Little nods.
Back, not forward.
Well, I mean, it's running automatically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
When it's showing the back of him, I can't tell whether that's supposed to be feathers or bone.
It's all.
I think it's all bone.
I think it's
It's all
a picture.
bone.
No, next one. See
Yeah,
how there's that arch?
in the middle.
I still think it's supposed to be bone, like big bone plate.
I'm pretty sure it's all
It's like a
bone.
pelvic bone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense because those bones would be overly dense and thick. It would make any sense.
I mean, technically, he has done something clean and stuff, right? The D-cannon is one.
Yeah, no, he did the U.S.
Balls.
Patriot.
No,
type.
That was it. Just the
I
blue
will-
balls, and then he's never gone clean since.
I will say this much about Freddy. I will say this much about Freddy. He's established a style. The moment you see the build, you know immediately, oh, that's Freddy Wrong's build.
Mhm.
So he's
Definitely.
established a style, and he's done really well. And he's developed that style every time he's created something. So now he's creating this thing. He's gone strides and steps into really developing this look.
I look at this and I think of the Unicorn Gundam, how it started changing and have all these crystal formations. And this is like it did that, but with bone.
With bone, yeah.
Cartilage. And
I mean, it's
Calcium and all
really
that.
It's like you can think of it like a bone parasite, like entered like the core mechanism and just started to grow.
Do you know there are actually organisms that do that? They calcify organic material. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, I don't know if Freddy's thinking that. My thought process is he's just like, oh, boom, cool, and then started to build. So
Be grateful it's not tentacles, guys. Be grateful it's not tentacles.
Yeah.
He's not done yet.
It's got a very
That's true.
cyber robotics kind of a, look to it. It reminds me of like a Guyver kind of thing.
It reminds me of your weekly monster from a Tokusatsu show, like a Super Sentai.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
So-
Very cool.
really cool, man. Really,
Yeah.
really cool. Freddie be killing it.
I can't wait to see this
Straight
done.
up.
I know he builds this during his live stream. So I was joking before, but he does. I think he streams Mondays.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, or something. I don't know. If it's like in conjunction with Meg streams.
Yeah. So whenever Meg isn't streaming, Freddy is. So so if you guys don't follow him on Twitch, do. It is it's very informative most of the time. If he's not being
he'll
told
go
by
through
Meg
step by
to
step.
make something or cook something.
I just wish they would go YouTube. I hate using Twitch. Sorry, people on Twitch.
Same.
Twitch always lags for me.
Twitch is very.
I can't wait to see
don't
this thing colored, yo. Like he's gonna paint this thing wild.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen knee flaps?
I don't know if he's doing like a full on like a base or diorama for this, but I'd be really interested to see what he does.
Yeah.
If he does.
Very much so.
Telling you, those little Easter eggs. I'm looking forward to seeing little nods of detail that he puts in there. That are
Yeah. So I can't wait to see this, Freddie. Please work more on this. I know you're working on the Pikanergo, but let's switch back to this because I want to see.
You got time though, Freddie.
No, he's got time. I want to see it done.
Yeah, I do. I want to see.
He knocks
Yeah.
stuff out quick when he gets
does.
started.
Yeah,
So,
When he's
put
motivated.
his brain to it.
Mm-hmm. 58, boom, done.
well, I
So-
guess having all those different projects is what keeps his mind constantly thinking of all these weird things.
Right.
I mean, new ideas, not weird things.
I mean, he is.
No,
he's,
they're weird things.
they're pretty.
Come on,
They're
Billy,
pretty
come
bizarre. I agree. But yeah, so that was the last build for the night. So I think we're all set. We're all done, and we are at 2 hours. So we are at the witching hour. So we're all set. We're all complete.
We didn't piss off anybody.
I hope not. I really hope
Why
not.
would we?
Hopefully, Freddie.
Miguel, get some sleep, bro. Go to sleep.
Yeah. Good Lord,
Oh,
man.
yeah. Happy holidays, man.
Yeah, so
Everybody, happy holidays.
Yep.
Yeah.
Happy
Yeah.
holidays, everyone.
Come on.
The fun is not over yet, though. I'm sure Text is still on. So if you guys want to go
Hop
and
over to AO Mecca.
go watch.
We
AO
all
Mecca.
go and give Ariel the most grief he's ever received ever in any show.
yes, can we please
And I
do that?
go in there and call him
Raid.
Let's,
Pretend me.
let's give him as much flack as
Everybody
possible.
go in there and call AO Freddy.
let's give him as much flack as possible for starting his show an hour into this one. So
Exactly.
let's let him know. I appreciate that. So yeah, let's go ahead and do our roundtable real quick, guys. So let's start with Mr. Roushlamn, Bill.
Hey,
Let's
big
go ahead and
Bill.
find you, man.
Probably nowhere. Every once in a while, you can find me on Instagram at Roushlamn, and pretty much that's it.
Occasionally you're on my stream.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight, man. It was definitely an honor.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me on.
Dude, it was a great time having you on, man. Hopefully we can have you on again in the future. So
Yeah.
keep that schedule open, good sir.
Well, and I'll work on my setup here, so I'm not backlit and everything else.
Send you a picture of me so you can put it on your
I'm
wall.
with you, Bill. Don't worry about it.
You know,
Beautiful setup.
maybe do something about the books.
Oh, keep them up there. I like the books. Yeah.
Good.
That-
That's
Nice.
how you know you're
Maybe-
an educated man.
Maybe close that closet next time. You know what I'm saying?
What's wrong with the closet? I mean, there's
There's backlog in there.
I'm a little worried. It's all the ones
Awesome
that I
job.
put stuff under my work desk.
I'm a little worried about the books on the top shelf. They look like
They're all looking.
I'm trying to switch over to the nothing but hardback books. So
Yeah.
paperbacks are up on the top shelf.
Okay. Okay.
Mass market paperbacks, man. I hear you. They work in a pinch, but they don't have the staying power of a hardcover.
Yeah, the covers
True.
fall apart. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
All right, let's go to this guy.
Hey, yo, seriously, thank you for coming through. I appreciate it, each and every one of you. I'll see you on the next episode. Have a great holiday. Bye.
Thank you, Julio. Thank you for having us here.
Thanks, Julio.
Okay, man. All right, let's go to there we go.
Oh, hey. Listen, guys, if you guys want to be forced into becoming the best builder you can be, let me talk shit to you in your DMs, all right?
Sounds
I'll
good.
get you guys next time. Have a great holiday, everyone. See you guys.
Thank you, Z. Here you go.
What's up, guys? It's Brian. I'm the Bro Builder. You can find me on Instagram and YouTube. I do my streams on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm going to be Julio's big brother. He does a stream on Wednesdays called Wet Palette Wednesdays. Come check it out, where he hand paints a bunch of cool shit with a bunch of cool people hanging out. It's been a great second episode. This is an awesome season, guys. It's going to be an awesome time. I hope that you all join in on the core build off along with me and everyone else, and have a great time. And keep kicking ass, guys. It's been a blast.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you for being. I know it's been a very busy week for you. So.
Yeah.
And
Hey.
are you done microwaving, Amy?
Yeah, I'm glad you knew what the hell was going on. Mike makes me egg rolls. I'm like, Amy, I told you to get this done early, and I'm like, mute, unmute, and she's like, another 30 minutes. I'm like, I'm gonna sign out. I gotta get this done. I'm trying to avoid the beeping sound. It's been a pleasure, guys. I always enjoy looking over everybody and hopefully giving some insight that helps everyone who submitted. Miguel, I'm looking forward to seeing the next chapter of this arc, especially since if anybody who hasn't seen his current work, we're going to be seeing that soon in the series. If I don't see you guys either on Brian's stream or anybody else's stream, happy holidays. Be safe out there, guys, and happy New Year's if I don't see you before then either.
Yeah. Thank you, Kyle, man. Thank you for being here. I know you've had a
Thanks for having me.
busy couple of weeks too. So thank you for showing up, man. Appreciate that. All right. Up Back to me. All right. So what these guys said. Thank you for joining us tonight, man. Thank you. It was definitely a fun episode. Let's do this again real soon. I will announce the date for episode 3 as soon as I talk to these guys. You know, we'll figure it out. It's definitely going to be after the holiday. So you know, we're not going to see you for Critical Builds, but we will see you for Brian's Critical Build Off stream on Tuesday, Kodokai. So we will see you guys then. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you to our special guest, Bill Roushlamn, for being here. And if you guys want to head over to AO Mecha Stream, again, give him as much flack as possible, please. Thank you. And we will see you guys on episode 3 in the new year, 2021. So
We're coming for you, Freddie.
yeah. Go for that, man. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Later, dude.